Hey guys, it's Michael here, and I've had a few of my friends reach out to me recently and ask a little bit about weightlifting technique. And so, granted, I'm not a coach. I haven't taken any USAW weightlifting certifications or anything like that. However, I have competed in weightlifting and paid attention to weightlifting and kind of studied weightlifting since I was 9 years old. So experience goes a long ways, take it for what you will. So these are tips that I found have helped me a lot over the years, and they're ways to correct common errors that you see in new lifters, and it's a great way to just kind of reinforce some of the good motion patterns that you want for a proper lift going forward. So these are things I do for warm-ups. They're not going to be things you're going to try and do with heavy weight. You're just going for the motion of the lift, you're going for the technical aspects, and kind of just a good, smooth rhythm and a good feel. So first things first, before we even get on the bar, quit bending your arms too early. Yes, there are elite level lifters that bend their arms early. That is unique to them. If you are learning how to lift, first things first, learn the basics properly. Practice your starting position and practice your pulling position with the proper arms. So you can think about flexing your triceps. You can think about chest up, arms as a rope where they're just relaxed and attaching you to the bar. That typically works better for snatch. And the clean and jerk is more of a tricep. But those are two things that we need to work on. So to practice our starting position, what we're going to do is get on the bar, get down in our position, hold it isometrically to start building up positional strength in our quads, and to also start wiring that neural pathway so that when we go to set up on lifts maybe fast because our clock is short, we will always set up with the same positions. In training, you always have a ton of time. You can take your time, you can do your whole ritual, but sometimes someone might change a weight, your clock gets called, you don't hear it, you go up there 15 seconds left and you just have to go. So your body needs to feel that correct position. So here's how you can do that. So for the snatch, you want the bar a little bit away from the body. I like to put it just over the base of my big toe. I'm also a taller guy, so it helps to have the bar further away because as we know in the snatch, we're pushing with our quads. If the bar is too close, our hips are going to be too high. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down in our position. We're going to put our knees into our elbows. My arms are relaxed. And I'm just going to hold this, float the bar, go back down, hold this, float the bar, go back down, and then come up, releasing our hands and driving with our quads. So what we're really focusing on here is a leg drive without our back angle changing. So again, we're going to come down here, float the bar, and up. When that's done wrong, it looks like this. So we're going to come bar in too close, hips come up first, and it's going to lead to bouncing the bar away. For the clean and jerk, very similar. So we're going to get the bar where we want it, get our grip. I'm flexing my elbows, tightening my lats, setting here, float, down, and up. If that looks wrong, it becomes a deadlift. In weightlifting, we're not deadlifting. We're using our legs, not a hinge. So float, and lift. And if it's wrong, it becomes too close, here, and a deadlift. The next thing we're going to work on is finding where the bar wants to be in our power position for our pull. So you see people doing these, they're doing these snatches and cleans from the hip where they can bounce it. And that's great, again, for an elite lifter because they are working on something different than a new person will be. When you're doing that with a lot of weight or with a flexible bar, of course you can lift a heavy weight because you're bouncing it off your quads. Whereas in reality, it's not a bounce, it's a sweep in the lift. So in the snatch, we're gonna sweep through our hips. In the clean and jerk, if it hits on the high quad, that's okay, depending kind of on limb length, but really we wanna try and sweep in a similar position. What's gonna make the biggest difference for that is being patient. So a lot of times you see people bouncing or relying on their arms to get to that position. It's because they don't push through their legs long enough and they are trying to get the bar to here when they're still down here. So you need to push, and then extend they're going push, push, and trying to extend earlier before the legs are there, and they try and bend their arm to then create that positional awareness. So here's how we get that. So for the snatch, we get where I want to be, good position, drive up. And all I'm going to do here is where I want it to be. I'm going to set my hips. So I'm going to go back an inch down, and then I'm going to lean away and bend my quads to the ground. Now that is my starting position. I'm going to bring it back up the exact same pathway. Gravity is the most efficient teacher. So if you relax your arms and let your back and legs do the work, the bar will find the best path for your body. So again, set, hips back, quads down, and then it's just going to go up, right? And that brings us to our next point. When we're going to triple extension, we want to stay on our toes and curl our wrists in. The reason we're doing this is, A, we're taking the bar vertical. That is the goal. Our maximum displacement vertically is going to be a bigger contributor to successful lifts than the speed of the bar. Some people generate a lot of speed, but they bounce it forward. So I want to go vertical, onto my toes, let my arms break, and then curl my wrists in. So that way, when I'm going under the bar, whether you say it's dropping under the bar or pulling yourself under the bar, not as big a deal on your nomenclature, but I'm going up, extending, I'm breaking my elbows so the bar can continue going straight. If I have my arms straight, when I go back, the bar has to go forward. So here, break the elbows, curl the wrists to keep it in that vertical pathway, and that allows me to then drop under and punch out on the finish. An easy way to practice that in a warm-up is by doing a muscle snatch. So you can do them with contact or without. I do it with just a sweep because that's what I'm used to. But when you're learning, if you do it with no contact, that still just teaches a very straight bar path, so that's okay. So we're going to come down, set, here, and up. So I'm really focusing on getting on my toes and curling the wrist, elbows high, and punch out the finish. So now for the clean and jerk, very similar thing, right? So we're going to come here, get it up. So I'm going to set, back, and right there. So that's where my contact will be. It's a very high hip, a high quad contact, I should say, but I've got super short arms and really long legs. That's not an issue. Ilian hits on his quads. A lot of people do. The main thing we're trying to do is go vertical and not forward. So it's a sweep and up. Same thing as in the snatch. Break the arms, let the wrist curl in, and that's going to get us speed under the bar.
That's all we got to say.
So set, quads, up, then down, up. And then if I want to practice like the hip position, I'm not going to do this because now my arms are bent, right? That's not the position I want to be in. I'm actually going to bring the bar forward, let it float a tiny bit so my arms are relaxed, bend my legs, and then do just a high position hang. That's going to build speed under the bar because I don't have a lot of generation of power from my legs, so I have to be in the right position. So, and under. There you go, guys. If you have any other questions, please send me a message and I'd be happy to answer them.